Apparently news sites are talking about Song and Jimin, specifically Song being in Jimin's bed allegedly, and then we have Jimin apparently addressing the dating rumors or not addressing them. We have a lot of people who are now bashing BTS and attacking them for no reason really, and we're going to get into all of that. So hey dumplings, it's Dave Disci, let's get into it. Recently, the BTS boys have been getting a lot of backlash, and quite frankly, I don't fully understand why. Recently, there was a TikTok video that talked about all of the HYBE artists and literally just left out BTS. And a lot of people were very upset about this, and I would imagine that this was one of the main reasons why the video went viral. Quite literally, this would be a video that would not be interesting to anyone if BTS was included, because then it would just be a list of all the HYBE artists, and you can literally find this on Google. So no one really needs a video talking about that. But it's about that people were upset about it, and it was a little bit of a rage bait type of content to get a big reaction, hence why literally all the comments are talking about BTS being missing on the list. Now, there are a lot of people who are really upset about that video, and I want to talk about that and why I think they shouldn't be upset. But on the other hand, I also want to talk about why this video is still upsetting to me, and it's probably for a different reason than what most people would think. People were really upset that obviously BTS was not included, with a bunch of people online saying that BTS doesn't even need to be included because everyone already knows that they are the one that is part of the label. Obviously this is true, but of course I don't think that the comments need to be like this, because the specific video talks about all artists from 2015 to 2025. And of course, if you look at all those artists in that period, you're literally just going to get every artist except BTS, because BTS debuted in 2013. So I don't know the point of that video and what they're trying to talk about there. But the fact of the matter is they were never trying to include BTS to begin with, because that wasn't the timeline to include BTS. That's like saying if they were to include all artists from HYBE that debuted from 2020 to 2025, you're not going to have BTS on there at all. But all the comments say, well, you don't even have to say BTS because we know that BTS is part of the label. That comment comes from a lot of people who are upset. They're just trying to brush it off as they're not angry, and they're saying comments like this when, if you just look, you'll see that the whole video, the premise was never to include BTS, because the video starts listing debuts from 2015. So why not make that point instead of making the point that BTS is part of the label? But of course, if they pointed out the fact that BTS didn't start in 2015, then they would have nothing to be upset about, and thus they would have moved on. So this is sometimes why I think the audience is either younger or someone who just doesn't have great comprehension skills when reading. Now, obviously, I say all of this to say that there is no reason to be upset here, because we can see that there's nothing to be upset about. But I will say that the reason why I'm upset about this is because why did the video specifically exclude BTS? Was it to talk about the other artists in the label, or what was the specific reason? Was it just rage bait, right? The bottom line is, for some reason right now, as the boys are coming back from the military and are planning their comeback, they're getting a lot of backlash, and a lot more than I would have thought. In fact, I've seen very few people be super excited about the comeback. I'm not saying there isn't, obviously I am, but just I've seen a lot more backlash than I expected to see. I completely understand times are tough, and I think artists are understanding that, as well as seeing a lot of their own community get really upset over very small things. I think unless you're someone who's super rich, you're probably struggling right now, and quite frankly, I don't really know how to answer this. Should we be happy when we see someone who's super rich and doing well, or should we feel a little bit jealous and a little bit of hatred because we're struggling right now? And this is something that I definitely have to think about all the time, because sometimes I'm covering stories where I'm talking about people who are doing really well, and sometimes I'm skipping a meal because I don't have all the money for it, right? So I can see why people take it out on other artists, but we have to learn to appreciate the escapism that they provide for us and the value that we get from that, which is warranted for their wealth, right? And which is the whole point also of why we love them to begin with. So let's not forget that. Fortunately, BTS and all of the members are fine. They're not getting unfollowed in masses, at least not all of them, even though people think that they are. But maybe some of them are getting some hate right now, because Jimin was believed to have addressed the recent dating rumors with Song Da Eun without actually addressing it fully. And there's this whole new pending rumor that's going on right now, which we will get into a little bit. But a lot of people believe that he has been avoiding the dating rumors and addressing it head on, which people believe is a statement on its own. He was recently spotted going out to a party or some sort of event with RM, with a lot of people saying that instead of addressing these rumors, he's going out and partying and having fun. He was recently spotted at the Moon Party in Seoul for 2025, which is an immersive art experience, and there was a photo taken where it seemed like RM was posing, but Jimin was seen in the background. A lot of people were saying if it was any other member of any other group, if they were at parties right now while there's this ongoing dating rumor happening, with some people saying it's a scandal, but whatever, they would get a lot of backlash just for going out before addressing all of these rumors. This angers me to an extent in which I cannot even explain. No one owes anyone an explanation. Even a son to a mother does not always owe the mother an explanation for everything that they do. Would it be nice? Sure. But if we're talking about that close of a relationship, that intimate relationship, mother and son, they still don't always owe each other an explanation, and the explanation on why they do things all the time, because not every child and mother are interacting with every single thing that they do, then there is definitely no need for an artist to explain to their fans every time they do something. The level of entitlement is crazy. Artists just want to be supported for the art that they make. A lot of artists don't care about being a celebrity. They don't care about being seen as famous. And if you're supporting an artist solely because you like them as a person, then that is kind of what's wrong with the industry right now, in my opinion. And that's why every artist is struggling right now, because people no longer see art as art. It's, do we like the person first? An artist shouldn't be your moral compass. You shouldn't be looking at an artist and saying, I like this artist, but if they're not a good person, then I cannot like the artist because I'm just going to feel guilty all the time, or whatever the reason is. You can very well still like a piece of art that is from someone that you do not like. And there's so many ways to go and help the world and the community outside of liking an artist that might be doing something bad. Like, you can do something else other than that. You liking an artist should not just be the one good thing that you do, right? If that artist is a good person. And using that energy and time in which you would use to attack an artist, but instead use it to contribute to more of the world around you. And that is a far more effective and great way to change the world, aside from streaming an artist's music. But another thing that I have to touch on really quickly, which is that an event that an artist is appearing at, where there are professional photographers there, is coverage that comes out of the event afterwards. Or if it's an event that is highly publicized and it's one that's well known and you read about the next day online, if you're aware that this event is happening, then it's press or a work event for the BTS members. People are not finding out that Jimin went to the mall by himself and hung out. People are not finding out that he went to a birthday party to his friends, or he went out clubbing. What we are seeing is not like phone videos being leaked. These are formal events, press events, professional pictures. It's a work thing. And he's going to work, and he's working on his comeback to get publicity back up again for him. So it's not like he's going out having fun and not addressing any rumors. This is him working. Recently, there was a photo and video that seemingly was deleted that showed Song allegedly in Jimin's bed. Now, given the alleged recent statement that a lot of people aren't even fully sure if it was real, if it was a real statement from HYBE or not, but given the recent statement saying something along the lines of they had mutual affection for each other, implying they at one point at least liked each other romantically. A lot of these pieces of evidence are coming out right now to piece things together for people to figure out what's actually going on. The screenshot, or the little clip that shows Song lying on a bed and then comparing it to what people believe Jimin's bed looks like in its entirety, people have been saying that she definitely seems like she was on his bed. People compared this with the live stream that Jimin did a little while ago, where he showed his bedroom and what it looked like. And really, I think the piece of evidence that looks similar in Song's video is the fact that you can see the curtain, and the curtains are the same color as in both videos, but you cannot see the actual bed. You have no idea whether or not this is Jimin's room based on the bed itself, because Song's holding the camera really closely. So this rumor is based on curtains, right? Which I think obviously can be disproven. So I'm not saying whether or not it's true or not here. I'm saying that the pieces of evidence that we are seeing are not strong enough to make this claim. It's definitely not strong enough to make an accusation as big and as heavy as you're sleeping in the same bed together. Obviously, if this was not K-pop, this would not even be a huge accusation at all, nor would it be a heavy thing that we have to deal with. But obviously, we're in the world of K-pop, and her sleeping in the same bed as a global K-pop star is obviously going to be big news, if not a big scandal. It gets a little bit more wild when you think about the people who are saying that they are disappointed in Jimin. They are disappointed in Jimin. I want to reiterate how crazy that sounds, because they're disappointed in a man, really just a random man that you don't actually really know. Like aside from the live streams and videos, you don't know him. He is just a random guy. But as I said, you don't know him, and you're disappointed at him trying to find love at one point in his life, allegedly. Obviously, if they're not together anymore, and we're gonna say that they were not together, but if they were together at one point, that would mean that he was looking for someone that he wanted to spend time with, wanted to spend the rest of his life with, but you're gonna be disappointed by that. That's the same as if he did something illegal. Like, that's the level of disappointment. This is the same as if he murdered someone and you're disappointed in that person for doing that, right? Like, I can totally understand that, I guess. Sarcasm, lots of it. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.